Welcome, everyone. This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Will.
And I'm TiMMy.
I'm Justin from the YouTube channel EckhartsLadder.
And I'm Installation00.
How about you guys go ahead and talk about your channels real quick? Eckhart goes first this time.
Okay. So my name is Justin. I run the YouTube channel EckhartsLadder, which is a Star Wars, science fiction, and Halo lore video channel. And then lore video channel. Yikes. And then I also run the gaming channel with some of my buddies, X2. We do lots of live streams there almost nightly. And I've been YouTube full time since I said 2017 in one part of the interview we did earlier, and then 2018 in another. I can't remember when I started full time, but been at it for a while.
I'm Installation00. Halo lore videos. I'm most well known for my most detailed breakdowns, where I go into insane levels of detail into various subjects of the Halo universe.
They definitely are insane.
Yeah, and I've got a second channel called Lorecore Multiverse, where I cover the same kind of material, but with other sci-fi franchises.
Awesome. All right. Well, today is a Wildcard Wednesday, and we're continuing our Conversation With series. And today we're gonna have a conversation with EckhartsLadder. So if you guys want to jump into it, I'll ask the first question.
Yeah.
Good?
Yep,
Yeah.
sweet.
All right. So what inspired the creation of your YouTube channel?
I'm from the East Coast of Canada, and after I finished law school, I moved out to Toronto to work. We weren't sure. We were thinking maybe a year or two. But we kind of decided, I love the city, but we kind of decided too that we wanted to move back home just because like houses in Toronto are like, they're like $1 million.
Toronto's a beautiful city, though.
It is. I love the city. It's amazing. And I had an amazing apartment on King Street right downtown. It was great. Okay. But we did want to move back home just for kind of a quieter life. We wanted kids at the time and whatnot. We have one now. And she was having a really hard time finding a job. She's my wife, Kelsey. She was just my girlfriend at the time. She's a registered nurse. And for some reason, and she's a really well-qualified and educated nurse and whatnot. But she was just having a really tough time finding jobs in her field. You
kill about 6 people and that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Those shaky hands. But in February of, I'm trying to think if it was 2017 or 2018. I guess it was 2017. In February 2017, she moved back home where we're living now because she got offered a job at the local children's hospital. But my contract I was on with the government ran until June, basically. So I had kind of 3 or 4 months on my own, where I was working a lot, but I still didn't have that many friends in Toronto. Mm-hmm. I was making good money, but I was kind of not poor, but there wasn't a whole lot I could do during the night. It's very expensive to live out there. So I had always had this idea to make YouTube videos. So just with all this time and this love of Star Wars that I always had, I kind of just started. And I didn't think it would go anywhere. I first started making videos for a game called Star Wars Force Arena, which is kind of like it was like a MOBA sort of. Okay. It was just playing for fun. And then eventually I just did a Halo or Star Wars lore video. And did really well because it was right before The Last Jedi came out. So there was a lot of hype. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was really lucky because I started really making videos in March. And I moved back in June or so, and the channel was already at a point where I could kind of I decided not to look for work anymore and just kind of dove into it full time, and then kind of
that was quick.
Then. Yeah, it was probably just timing, really. It was because the Star Wars hype was so high then. Worked out really well.
Got the next question there?
What made you decide to focus on Halo and Star Wars?
So Star Wars especially was just like a topic. So my philosophy, I guess, when making YouTube videos is you want to make content that you would watch, which I think is paramount, or at least if you knew that it was around that you would watch. Because funny enough, before I started making Star Wars videos, I didn't know that lore channels were a big thing. I'd never watched them. I was 24 or 25, and I just never thought to look up Star Wars stuff on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I was very surprised when I started to find out that it was so established. But so Star Wars was just something that I knew I could talk about, and then it also had the added benefit of I could talk about it daily, really, without getting bored of it or without running out of content. And I thought this is the important one, especially for people who are starting a new YouTube channel. I thought I could talk about it and add to the conversation in a way that other people weren't. So for me, I think what really made me want to start is I looked up, like, I wanted to do a video on I wanted to just watch a video on the 5 biggest space battles in the Star Wars books, and it didn't exist, so I just made it. And yeah, I guess that was kind of why I decided to choose Star Wars, because I do have a real kind of genuine knowledge of it. And then for Halo, it's kind of the same, but I have less sort of focused knowledge on Halo, and it's more just something I really enjoy. And same with other science fiction as well.
So I got to ask, what is your opinion on the new trilogy?
The new Star Wars trilogy or the new Halo?
Or both?
It's tough because it's kind of a mess. I do enjoy like parts of the new Star Wars movies. I'm not a big fan of the new Halo games very much. Although I do like multiplayer, and I'm not a hater or anything. Same with Star Wars. Like there are moments of Episode 8 that I really really love, like the Yoda scenes and stuff. And I love the actors and the characters. I've got a lot of problem with kind of like the world building and the overall story, or I guess more plot than story, if that makes sense. Because I like the themes and stuff, but the world building and stuff I found quite lacking. And Episode 9 was quite a mess. I loved Episode 7 when it came out, though. I thought
Me too. I actually watched
I still do like it
3 times.
Yeah, I saw that movie many times in theaters, but yeah, like I still quite like that one. Episode 8 has definitely grown on me quite a bit. I gave it a very negative review early on, and I've definitely softened on it quite a bit. And maybe the same will happen with Episode 9, but like that's one movie where like I've only really seen it twice, and I don't have any desire to see it again.
Yeah, same.
But I've liked Solo and Rogue One, and I love The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I really like Rogue One. I thought Solo was just okay.
That's exactly how I felt when I left the theater. But then the other day I was just sitting around at home with my son, and I watched it, and I was like, man, I'm really, really enjoying this movie. Because I was kind of, I do a podcast myself where we do a Star Wars Expanded Universe book every week, kind of like a book club. And I was watching that movie, and I was like, this movie is basically exactly like what a Star Wars Expanded Universe book would have been like. I guess when I thought of it like that, I really appreciated it a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, next one. What is your favorite type of content to produce on YouTube?
I like any content that I can do without reading a script. Even from my most serious videos, I don't script them. What I'll do is I'll put bullet points that I want to hit, and usually just figure out the words on the way between those bullet points, with lots of takes sometimes. But other times, whether it's like a rambling video about news or like me talking about something where like I'm just so familiar with the content that I can kind of just spit out facts and stuff. I really like doing those because
It's usually more fun to listen to too,
Like, yeah, it's more genuine, I think, and
big time.
I start talking, I don't really know where it's going to end up, which is fun and a little bit scary. But like it's funny because when I started YouTube, I hated doing those kind of videos. I would need to to record my intro in the first line. I would need to do like literally 30 takes. It's just one of those things that's not natural. And you feel really weird when you start doing it, or at least I did. Some people don't. I felt really weird recording videos when I first started, but now I kind of just like the opportunity to just talk without having to hit key points and word everything perfectly. It's kind of reminds me too of what YouTube used to be like a lot more. Like I just remember back in the day when I used to watch YouTube in like high school, and I graduated in 2010. Like all my favorite YouTubers would have one channel where they'd like do their content, whatever it was. And then back then, everyone would have a second channel too, where they'd just do like the daily vlogs or whatever, and they would just talk to the camera. And that was always the stuff that I liked the most. So it's the stuff I like making the most as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, do you prefer to produce Star Wars or Halo? I think I already know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Star Wars because my knowledge is I wouldn't say I would say my knowledge for Halo is lacking in certain aspects. Like I know all the Bungie era games and the books and the comics, but like I haven't read every Halo book there is. I haven't read many of the new ones even, which sucks because I really like Troy Denning, for example, and he used to do a lot of the Star Wars Expanded Universe books, and now he does a lot of the Halo stuff. But I haven't read very much of what he's put out recently, so I've got a huge knowledge gap. I don't feel like I can competently talk about a lot of subjects, which is why I skip most new Halo stuff, making lore videos, because I know Luke or Installation you will, or somebody else will cover it better than I could. But like, I know there are certain Star Wars topics, and I'm not trying to be cocky, but that I will do a better job than most other people. So I much prefer covering that.
Okay. Fair. So now, after you just got done saying you don't like Halo as much, we're going to ask you a bunch of Halo questions.
Well, I still love Halo. Yeah.
All right. So what are you looking forward to the most with Halo Infinite?
I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it lately. Like I do love Halo. Like Halo at its best of times is almost up there with how much I love Star Wars at its best of times. Like Halo 3, for example, the ending part where they're climbing out of the fort into dawn, that's up there with like Star Wars moments that I love. But so, and I don't want the thing that I love to not do well. I'm mostly just excited for the potential for the community to become a big thing again. It's like I remember when Halo 3 was out in its prime. It will never be like that again. But just you'd turn on, YouTube, and there'd be a gazillion new Halo videos. There'd be a new episode of Arby and the Chief and new map variants and everything. And the community was just really fun to be a part of. And it felt like everyone in the world was playing. And I'm hoping that like Halo Infinite is popular enough to kind of encourage that. And just generally, I look forward to playing with my friends again too. We've been having some since the quarantine. We've been having some Halo nights where we'll just all like drink way too much beer and
no such thing.
Well, you've had some of my friends, but I can't stream those even if I wanted to. But but yeah, that'd be fun if we can have a big LAN party like the old days. Would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
Is there anything that makes you particularly nervous about Halo Infinite?
Yeah, like I didn't like Halo 4 and Halo 5. I didn't even like I know a lot of people for Halo 4, a lot of people understandably were really into the story. And I do get why people really like Chief being more of an actual character. And that's a totally valid point to have. Same if you like Halo 5, totally valid. For me personally, though, I preferred Chief just to be kind of like just a representative of the player, really. And I liked the kind of style of the first 3 games more. So it kind of lost me there. And then thematically, I didn't like the direction they took the Forerunners, and I didn't like how they changed the UNSC quite a bit and the whole dynamic. Obviously, you have to change somehow. I just didn't like how they did it. So I don't know if they can fix, like, as much as I do love Halo, I don't know if they can make the story one that I will like. It might be too far gone. So I'm worried about campaign. I think they've got a good idea of what we want for multiplayer and from visuals and music and stuff like that, because the feedback has been very, very unanimous and clear. Well, maybe not, at least in the circles that I'm in. So I think I think they know what people want, at least in multiplayer, but story, they might not get me, and that's fine because the game is not meant just for me either.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It is that the feedback that's come back from the community since sort of Halo, really since 343 Industries have taken over. The feedback that's come back from the community has been it's been loud and clear, but it's also been ambiguous at times. We want new, but we want old. We want we want compelling story, but we don't want it too complex. It's like
figured it out. 343.
yeah. So it's been a bit of a minefield for them. But yeah, I share some of your concerns, because I am aware that Halo 4, at least when it first launched, didn't strike very many chords with the fan base at large. Halo 5, again, I think the advertisement campaign sort of led people to expect something that then wasn't delivered. So that was kind of a flop. Halo Wars 2 is probably one of the worst selling Halo games in history, and we're now on the absolute cusp of of getting Halo Infinite, and the worry is that if we hit that a fourth time, if we hit a flop a fourth time running, is that going to be the end of the franchise? It's just it's I share some concerns there. Yeah,
it's hard too because sorry.
I was gonna say I left some very impassioned comments on the forums, so I got you.
They know what's up.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is kind of hard too because it's the same thing with Star Wars. None of my friends in real life, and I mean that to distinguish from my friends I know mostly online. Not that they're not real friends as well, but I don't think any of my friends in real life have ever tweeted or posted or whatever about Halo. But most of them, like when we have LAN parties, we can easily get 16 people together to play Halo. So like, it's the same with Star Wars, like if you go to a Star Wars movie, like there's probably, if there's 100 people in the theater, there's probably 10 that regularly post about Star Wars on social media because it's just so popular. So it's like, to what degree is it even worth placating the loud kind of hardcore fans that are online when it is like Halo was for a while, at least one of, if not the most popular gaming series, and it seems like they're spending a lot of money on Halo Infinite to try to make it really popular and to kind of sell a console. So it's like, do you really want to focus on placating like me because I'll, post some snarky shit on Twitter, or is it just like better to go with like gaming trends and try to make one that, it's like, okay, you can teleport now in Halo, like that's cool,
They should borrow the mechanic from Titanfall 2 where you can like travel back in time. Have you ever played those games?
I played Titanfall 1. I never really got into 2.
So I think 2 has an amazing campaign. There's one level where you get like this little watch and you can go back and forth between different time points in the same area. And it's actually like a cool puzzle mechanic. So in like one timeline, like a room might be on fire, but then you go back in time and it's fine.
That does sound awesome. Yeah. I've been meaning to play that game too because everyone kind of unanimously loved it, but it seems like it kind of undersold a little bit.
Oh, it's super undersold. I think it was purposely done by EA because they launched it like right by Call of Duty and also Battlefront, not Battlefront, Battlefield.
Battlefield, yeah.
And then EA bought the studio when it didn't perform well enough.
They made a shitload of money with Apex.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. So I guess I have the next question. I know you mentioned Halo 3 a couple times, but what is your favorite and least favorite mainline Halo game?
I think my favorite has to be Halo 3 just because I played so much multiplayer. Halo 1 has a really special place in my heart too, just because I remember playing it when it like came out. And Halo 1 is really distinct from the other Halo games in a way, like even like aesthetically, like I've said this a few times on Twitter, but it feels like, especially when you play like the second level of Halo, it feels like you're playing the cover of like a pulpy science fiction book, like, and it's got that kind of unique feeling to it that the other games don't really match. A bit more space opera-y, perhaps. But so that one's up there, but I think my least favorite had to be Halo 4, to be honest, because I thought Halo 5 story was like even more of a mess, but I enjoyed the gameplay a bit more for the campaign.
Yeah, I agree.
And I wasn't disappointed as much because that was the thing for Halo 4. Like I was like, that was probably my most hyped game of all time. All my buddies and I, we went to the midnight thing, like because Halo 3, we played the shit out of that. I just remember I beat the campaign and I took the poster down off my wall.
I went to the midnight launch as well, and I was the only one in Walmart.
Jeez.
I waited for like 40 minutes by myself.
It's just sad.
Yeah.
We had like a big event. I think I went to a Future Shop, which doesn't even exist anymore. It's like a Best Buy in Canada. And they had tournaments and stuff set up. It was awesome. We were there for like 2 hours, and it was amazing.
Yeah, so for Halo 1, I would say that was probably one of my favorite games too. I remember when I first played 343 Guilty Spark, and like the first reveal of the Flood actually terrified me. And I think I was like 8 at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't play this. Like I would get nightmares.
It's scary, yeah.
This is terrifying. And it just came out like left field. It was totally caught me by surprise. So that game will always have a special place in my heart.
It's the fact that they never even announced on any of the, even like the box art or anything.
Mhm.
There was no suggestion of the flood whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
And then suddenly you get these things, crawling out of doorways and attacking you from behind. It's like, Jesus, yeah, scary as hell. They did so well with the ambience, considering the limiting factors of the technology at the time. Because
Yeah.
I mean, the Xbox was sort of a leap ahead of some of the really old consoles, but it was still, we're not talking supercomputer. It still had its limitations. So to be able to pull off what they did, is phenomenal.
I think graphically. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think graphically Halo 1 actually holds up better than Halo 2.
I agree. Actually.
Because
Yeah,
it's
I'd
so
agree.
stylized, which I just love about it. And like you lose a bit when you go for the kind of more realistic approach of Halo 2. Another thing too, I think the gameplay holds up a lot better. Especially campaign. Like when you're playing through, I mean, I've been doing a legendary playthrough of Halo 2 on my second channel. It's obviously just brutal. But
You're a glutton for punishment.
yeah, and it's a co-op legendary, which in Halo 2
Oh my
is
gosh.
worse. Because
I've never made it past the first level.
yeah, we're on the second last one.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's pain. It's been awful. My last one got demonetized by YouTube because we were just freaking out. But in Halo 1, every gun feels useful. You pick up the plasma rifle and it can shred things. The shotgun, like the library sucks, but the shotgun is so fun to use that it's like, it's still fun. The only bad thing about Halo 1 is the sheer amount of backtracking you do.
Yeah.
Especially in the latter half. Like every single level. I think every single level besides for the library is basically stuff you've already done.
Yes. Yep. You just go backwards.
So, what's your favorite Star Wars game?
I meant to think about this. It's so hard. My second channel is built largely off of a game called Empire at War, which is like a Star Wars RTS. It's 14 years old, but it's still super, super popular because it's been very, very heavily modded to like the point of you can't recognize the base game anymore. So that's probably my favorite, but that's mostly because of the mods. So I don't know if I'd count that. Probably Knights of the Republic is up there for me. I had this game when I was a kid called Shadows of the Empire.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say that, man. I love that game.
It's so good. It doesn't hold up at all. It's because I did a playthrough of that not long ago. It doesn't really hold up. It's pretty short, but it's also awesome.
That jetpack, though.
Yeah, that jetpack though, and the original Rogue Squadron, the same thing. But yeah, probably one of those ones. Not a great answer.
What are some Star Wars centric YouTube channels that you enjoy?
We talked about this, I think, last episode, but I don't watch Star Wars YouTube channels.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's not really good for my mental health, for one, because seriously though, like especially when you start doing YouTube full time, like it becomes stressful to compare yourself with other YouTubers. Just like, oh, they got 10 million views this month, or I got however many million views this month. So it's like I find it's better to kind of detach. Just for me personally, there's a completely different experience for everyone. Yeah, I like to detach, and I just don't really enjoy lore content that much, to be honest. Like I would watch some of my videos, but not all of them. Because I've personally, I like reading it, so that's what I would mostly do. But I will say I've got a lot of friends in the Star Wars community, like Alex from Star Wars Explained. He's probably the one I watch the most, because he makes a lot more Star Wars canon content, and I don't read all the new books, and he covers all of those. I've got a friend too who I run my gaming channel with. His name is Corey. He runs the channel, Corey's Datapad, and he's really, really in depth on a lot of the legend stuff. He's also my podcast co-host. So, I mean,
Nice.
He catches a lot of stuff that I miss. So, yeah, I watch his quite a bit too. Every upload of Corey's and a lot of Alex's.
Yeah, so you don't particularly watch Star Wars one, but you watch like other kind of content, like stuff completely unrelated.
Oh, you mean just like general like YouTube stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm on YouTube literally all day. When I'm working, like when I'm working, I'll have YouTube playing in the background. I'm looking at. I just popped up my subscription box right now. I don't really watch much gaming content, but I do like like I don't watch Let's Plays or anything, but I watch a guy called Happy Console Gamer. He does like some retro stuff, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
What do I even watch? How did I manage to get a full day of videos out of this? A full day's videos to watch. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel like right now I don't have as many kind of creators that I'll watch every single video for. Rather, I'll just kind of just browse and watch whatever's good, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, watch a lot of YouTube.
I always find myself watching like explaining videos on evolution or some kind of weird dinosaur. Those are like the perfect videos to put in the background.
Yeah, I like those too. Like just like random fact videos. Those are really cool. Or like cooking stuff. Like I don't cook that much, but it's kind of relaxing to watch. Or like
Binging
one thing
with
I've been
Babish.
watching. Yeah, binging with Babish. I'm subscribed to him. One thing I like watching
back
too.
to Binging with Babish.
That's pretty good, actually. I never
That's
really
good.
noticed how similar your voice is.
Right.
Reveal, I'm actually the same person. No, I'm not.
As I say, if you've never plugged the your channel on your other channel, if you were binging with Babish, that would be a mistake.
True.
I've been watching recently like these videos of people just like backtrack, like going backcountry or like fishing, like in really interesting places. I don't really do that much myself, but I
I
don't
would
know.
love to go fishing for catfish in Asia. Like get big enough
like
to eat you.
exactly, stuff like that is just really interesting. I like comedy too. There's this YouTube channel called Fair Barn Films that I watch. That's like these two Australian kids, or they're not kids, they're probably in their early 20s. That's really interesting. There's another guy named Caleb. I can't remember his channel name. He makes hilarious videos. Can't remember his name though.
They're so good you can't remember his name. Okay.
Oh, Caleb City, that's his name. Caleb City. He makes hilarious like 3-minute videos that I would recommend for everybody.
Cool. Well, I don't know if your answer is going to be the same to the Halo question, but you can ask it. Installation.
What are some of your Halo-centric YouTube channels you enjoy?
So I watch yours and I watch Luke's
nice, thank you.
primarily. Those would be the two because I find between you guys, most of what I'd want to watch is covered. I definitely do watch more Halo stuff than Star Wars stuff because I'm a bit more on Star Wars myself.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say you guys mostly, and then I'll just watch like I like watching random gaming videos, like if there's something that comes up about like a Halo mod or a really interesting run through or something, or like they're always finding weird things about how the game works. I like to watch stuff like that.
Cool. Because I can't read my own script, I jumped ahead and already asked my question. So if you want to ask the next one too, man, you can go ahead.
Yeah. What other video game series or topics do you enjoy, or would you consider ever covering in the future on your channel?
I mean, I'll honestly like cover anything that's like, even if it's not science fiction related, I've covered like fantasy even, or like I've covered like lots of Lovecraft, which people really enjoy and which I enjoy too.
Yeah.
I've recently read one of my favorite book series is called the Southern Reach series.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and I'd love to do. I just recently did another read through of those. I would love to cover them, but there's so much to them, and they're so kind of strange. For those who don't know, it's basically this story about like this weird. It's hard to explain even. There's like this area of the world that just kind of changes like very strangely. They did kind of like a soft version of the first book into a movie, Annihilation, which is the name of the first book as well. But it's very, very different.
It is very different. Still good though.
Which is your favorite of the three? I'm kind of curious.
I really liked the first one and I liked the last one. I thought the middle one was kind of
Very
confusing.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one scene though when like the Reach is expanding into the compound though. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
goosebumps reading about that.
The psychologist with the
yeah.
crazy.
Oh man. And then this like everything. At the end, I don't want to ruin it actually, so I'm not gonna ask that question. In case anyone wants to read it.
That sucks because I've been looking for someone to talk to about it, but
yeah,
it's like no one's read them. But I'm writing a script on that, and like, yeah, just anything really, anything that I enjoy. I kind of trust my channel to enjoy, and I'll usually do it if I can. Like I wanted to. I'm not a big anime guy, but I watched. What's that anime called again? The giant robots fighting the angels. Oh, Evangelion. I watched that, and I was like, I'd like to cover this, but I don't think I'm smart enough to.
Yeah. Would you ever do like sort of real world science and technology stuff like that?
I would if I felt equipped to do it, but I just generally I don't. I don't know very much about science. Anytime I try to bring real world science or real world military stuff into my videos, there's always somebody who's like, actually, you're an idiot. So I don't like faking it. I used to try a bit more if I didn't know a universe as well. I would just try to do it. But now, if I can't talk about it like very comfortably, as not an expert, but as a, like I could give a presentation on it without a script, then I don't really want to do a video on it.
Fair enough.
Have you ever considered like expanding into Star Trek? I know there's like a lot of overlap in those two fandoms.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like it's something that I totally would, but Star Trek is like such passionate fan base, and there are already so many people making Star Trek content that I just don't think I could add very much that someone's not already doing better. Because like I don't even think I'd call myself a casual Star Trek fan. But like for example, I don't know if you guys know the YouTuber Space Doc, but
yep,
we did a collaboration video. It was, let me see, let me get my channel open. It was like, where is it? It's like top 10 Federation ships or something. Got like 1.5 million views or something. So it's like, yeah, if I knew that content, I would definitely throw it into the mix. So I'm due one of these days for a big series a watch through of all the series, and then eventually start pumping it out.
You should make a video on which captain is the best. I'm sure that will definitely go over well.
Yeah, I'm sure. I did a video on like the Enterprise versus a Star Wars ship, and that did really well. But in like a Borg cube versus a Star Wars ship, like those do really well. But I just don't feel that good about talking about stuff I'm not an expert on.
Seriously though, Kirk or Picard?
I am more of a Picard guy.
Me too.
Good.
Earl Grey hot.
I like TOS though because I like how silly it is.
It is really campy, so I do enjoy putting that on in the background sometimes. I realize someone's probably gonna get upset that I called it campy, but
like the definition.
I think I prefer the Next Generation. Have you
Yeah,
seen Deep Space Nine?
I've seen it whenever it comes on like the Space Channel, but I've never actively sat through and watched it. Same with most of Star Trek, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Well, is there any other things you want to talk about? Any cool stories you want to share with the audience?
Not really. I would just say we have a lot of fun. If you like my content on the main channel, we do a lot of fun gaming stuff on my second channel, X2, which I run collaboratively with some of my friends. We have a video and a live stream almost every day. So we do lots of fun stuff like Sea of Thieves and Mario Kart. So go check that out. Otherwise, I'd like to get to a convention. I was supposed to be at Star Wars Celebration this year. I was going to do a panel, but obviously that was canceled. So I'm looking forward to meeting some of my viewers in real life. I've met a few of them, but...
Have they announced any new ones this year, or is basically this year kaput?
It's been unfortunately canceled until 2022. It was supposed to be...
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, because they have a Disney one and then a Star Wars one. So it's like they alternate years. So yeah, Disney next year and then Star Wars again.
Who the heck cares about Disney? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Actually, thank you everyone for coming on.
Yeah, crowded house tonight.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So this has been the CHRILLCAST. I'm Will.
And I'm TiMMy.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Installation.
And we'll catch you on the next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.